This week on SD Lynx. Welcome to this week's SV Lynx video. This week we are trying our hardest to get those bulkheads installed. So in order to do that, we have to finish the interior of the canoes.
And that involves a lot of work, unfortunately. So one of the problems we're still having is that we're getting rain still occasionally. And it's, in fact, we're in a very strange rain pattern right now because we're getting days of 80 and 85 degrees, followed by a 20-degree drop and rain, and then 20-degree rise and back to 80 degrees again. Very hard on our boat schedule for it. But regardless of that, we're going to get it done. And what we're going to do this week is we're going to prepare the inside of the canoes and start glassing them in, because they have to get glass before the bulkheads can be put down. And then we'll just have to work out what day we're going to actually get those bulkheads in. But that will be the following week, some point. This week, we're just going to get those canoes ready for it. And come hell or high water, we're going to get it accomplished.
It could be very high water. You never know.
So we're going to head off to the lot right now and show you what we're doing this week. The rains are over on the weekend. The hull's fared very well. Just a few drips in there that we're using a fan to dry out, but not much. And today what we're going to do is clean up any little tiny spots that we kind of missed when we were inside that dark tent, because it was very dark while we were grinding this off. And so there's a couple little spots that we're going to grind off right now. Brian's going to hop in the hull and do that. And after that, we're going to clean the inside of this hull, and we're going to mix up some thickened epoxy and fill in any tiny little gaps. And we can get that done today. Tomorrow, we're going to put the fiberglass into this entire hull on the inside. And then the following day, we'll work on the other hull and get to work on that one. So our goal is to get to the point by either Saturday or Monday and be putting the bulkheads into the boat. So got a lot to do if we're going to get those bulkheads in the next 7 or 8 days. So we're going to get to it. Unfortunately, the wind's blowing again, and it's blowing right towards those houses. So we had to put our dusty tent up again to hold the dust in. Fortunately, there's not very much to do, and then we should be able to fix those few little spots that are need a little more work in just a few minutes. But it does mean that Brian's going to have to get into a bunny suit because it gets really dusty in there.
Once again, into the suit. Cool enough today. It'll help. It's sunny.
About 10 minutes.
Come on, I'm using brain power to disguise the horror.
Lie to yourself. Go ahead. Notice I'm making him get in the bunny suit today.
The right brain doesn't know what the left brain's doing. It always lies.
That's true. Fortunately, Brian won't have to be in there too long. There aren't that many spots. I was just looking ahead here. Little area like right there. But most of this is all fine. Brian finished sanding off those little few spots that we had to fix. And while he was doing that, I vacuumed it out and started wiping down the hull. You can kind of see down there where I've gotten to, where it's still a little white down there. So I've got to vacuum up the very bow there and wipe that out. But while I'm doing that, Brian's going to take the compressor and go to any spots that have a little crack or something and blow those out and make sure there's no dust down deep in there. And then we're going to wipe it down with alcohol, and we're going to start putting on the fixes today. We want to get the whole hull all epoxied up today so that tomorrow we can do that glassing. All right. Get this dust generally vacuumed up down here. If we can get this done today, meaning the epoxy work done, and get the fiberglass on tomorrow, that'll be on Tuesday. And Wednesday we're gonna do the opposite hull, same thing. But there is a bit of a chance of some showers on Friday. So if that turns out to be true, we won't be able to do the fiberglass work on the second hull on Friday. We would have to do that on Saturday. And that would mean that we would put the bulkheads across sometime Monday, Tuesday, well, next week. All right, the vacuuming is done. But that's only the first stage. Brian's going to blow out all those cracks, and then I'm going to wipe it down with a wet cloth, and then we're going to wipe it down with alcohol, so lots of things. Now we're not planning on putting epoxy over this whole hull, but we're just going to wipe down the whole thing anyway, because we don't know where we're going to be putting it until I start doing it. And if I wipe the whole thing down, I can put wherever I feel like. But the primary goal is all the little holes from the forms and any little gaps where the squeeze out just didn't come through. And a few little weird spots where one of those strangely shaped thin boards maybe didn't come quite all the way up. We'll even it out, because the object here is just to make it so that when we lay down the fiberglass, it doesn't have any bridging, any gaps of air underneath. And so that's what this next round is meant to take care of. Shouldn't be too hard to get on here. I'm doing the two edges while Brian does the inside center where I can't reach, and he's already in there wearing knee pads, so he's going to take care of that. However, once I go to do the epoxy, he's going to mix, and I'm going to be the one going the inside with knee pads. Share the pain. Look, I'm in my boat. Well, the bilge of my boat. But this is the hardest part for me, because I got to get up in the bow here, which is very skinny, and apply my fairing compound to it. I got my little bendable piece here so that it can contour to the shape of the hull. And I'm just going to be smearing that on there. I'm going to make it as smooth as possible, because if I can get this smooth enough in the actual application, then we really don't have to sand it, because we're just going over the top with our fiberglass anyway, as long as it's not, you know, sticking up or anything. Now if there's a couple little bobbles where it's not perfect, we can sand those little ones, but I'd like to keep the sanding on this down to a minimum, so I'll give it my best. Brian's over mixing up our first batch of our thickened epoxy with our micro balloons and some flock and some silica. it's a mix of all these things to get to the fairing compound consistency and have it still be able to be sanded decently in case we have to on any of that. Again, trying to apply it so that we don't have to do much of that. And once I get past this first 5 feet, this is going to be much easier through the rest of the hull. But it'll be a little squeeze to get up in there right now, and that's no fun, but I'm going to do it. Oh, so we got the front part done. That's the worst because there's some stair stepping from the board turning so tight there. As we're getting further back here, that'll get to a lot less of that kind of work. Just these little gaps here like this. And then the holes from the bulkheads, we have to fill those little holes in here. The other one that's a little hard is that especially in this section right in here, is where a lot of these boards cut in right here in these little triangles. And those little spots where the triangles come in, I have to put a lot more to fix it. So here I have to get a little excess in here, fill in that corner better, like that. And there's another one right here. Another thing I'm having to fix up here at the front of the boat is the fact that it's very steep where it meets at the bottom. So it's not enough of a curve for fiberglass to roll across. So I have to fill in a little bead down there. So what I'm going to do right now, sorry about the rear view here. We're progressing along about halfway now. It's getting late in the day, but I'm trying to get it done because I really want to put that fiberglass on tomorrow, and if I don't get this done today, I can't. So I'm going to try. Gives a weird noise. That's Brian. He ate some burritos last night. But we're just cleaning up some little excess we forgot on the very stern, and Nick's going to vacuum that up right now. But we're just about ready to put this on. So we have a little sort of division of labor here. I'm going to do all the cutting of each piece as we go. Mike and Rhonda over here are going to mix the epoxy, and Nick and Brian are going to wet out and clean up the epoxy on the fiberglass. So off we go. We're going to try and get this whole hull done today. We had 2 options on how to lay down the fiberglass. We could have gone the full length of the hull, or we can do it in loops. We just chose to go in the loops because we just don't have enough people to go full length. That would take like 10, 15 people to do that. And you know, we only have 2 rollers, 1 cutter and 2 mixers, so that isn't going to do it. So this is a lot easier on us to go with loops. So that's what we're going to do. And this is the first piece that's going to go on. So right now we're working our way down with the main layer of fiberglass that goes across the whole hull, but every time we get to a major bulkhead, we have to put a secondary layer over that, which is what they're putting on right now. And then we'll move on to the next major layer. and so forth. The next bulkhead will be down that way, so we'll have to do one of these for a little while. It's a little bit late. We've been here working really hard all dang day, trying to get this entire hull glassed, and it took until morning, till it's like 6 p.m. So fortunately, this is about, I started at 6, so about a 12-hour day to get this done, with all kinds of prep work and different stuff like that. But we've got the fiberglass on the inside of this hull and peel ply on top of that. So now all we have to do before we can go home and rest is get some plastic over the top of this so that the dew doesn't get on it tonight. So that's what we're up to now. So it's time to get to the cleaning of this hull so that we can eventually fiberglass it. So first thing we got to do is vacuum it out. Then we're going to wipe it out with water. Then we're going to blow it out some with a compressor, and then eventually clean it with the alcohol again. Now we've vacuumed this out and blew out any of the little cracks. The next thing is we got to wipe it out, because you can still see there's some white stuck to the sides in places. So now we're going to wipe it out and see if we can't get this cleaned up. So each stage we get a little bit more of this powder out of here. You can see we're still white where Brian's working on the upper section down there. But we've still got to go with another round or two of wiping it out with alcohol after this is all done. And we'll use some clean cloths for that. But this will get it down to the point where at least there's no dust coming off on my hand anymore. But there's still a little dust around in places, so that's where the alcohol fixed that up. The weird California weather continues. We had a couple days of rain after some very nice sunny days. So we had to cover the canoes here. But today we're going to uncover them, because we're going to get to putting the fairing compound on the interior of this port canoe. But one more mention on the weather. Earlier in our videos, people were concerned about us building outdoors, and I said California is a very arid place and we don't get very much rain. Well, this year, just for us, is going to be the record of all years of recorded history for the amount of rain. The most since the 1800s. So that was just for us, building the boat. But you know, we've made do, and it's taken a little extra work to keep the the rain out when we don't want it, like making all these plywood covers and covering them with plastic, clamping all that down for the rain. But at least we're headed for summer soon, and we might have a few more rain, hopefully not much, but a few more. But pretty soon here, we're in April, by the time we get into May, we should be getting into summer weather here. And then we'll have to worry about heat stroke, but not rain so much. So anyway, that's what's going on. So anyway, we're gonna get to work on this in a few minutes and see if we can't get this prepped, because on Tuesday of next week, we're gonna go ahead and put the fiberglass in like we did on the starboard hull. And then by the end of the week, we're gonna try to put the bulkheads in across both hulls. So we'll be working hard to get to that. We're at the point where we are applying our fairing compound to any of the little gaps between boards or any other oddity spots on here. So Nick and I are applying fairing compound. Brian's mixing it. And We're just going to see how far we can get today. If we don't get the whole hull done, it's okay. That would be nice. It's always nice to get more done, but it's not critical to us because we can do more on Monday. And but we've got Nick here today, so we want to push and see how far we can get. Monday it'll just be Brian and I, so that's harder. But Nick will be back on Tuesday. On Tuesday, we're actually hoping to get to fiberglassing this entire hull. So that's why we want to get this stuff done today and a worst case Monday, so that on Tuesday we can layer our fiberglass in here. Because we really want to get the bulkheads in. And this is the second hull. Once that fiberglass is in, the bulkheads are next. So that's why we're up to that. And let me interrupt myself here and get I get some new epoxy from Brian right now. All right, not quite halfway yet, but soon we'll be halfway. It's the end of Saturday, and we did pretty well. We're down to that last 2x4 you can see way down there. So we've got fairing compound all the way down there. Most of this was very little. Most of it was right at the start here where it's stair-stepped, and we had to put a lot more in. The rest of it was just a few little spots here and there. And probably about 12 feet left at the bow, which we'll take care of on Monday, so that's not too bad. We got pretty far. It's time to get started on putting the fairing compound on this last 12 feet or so here at the bow. And Brian's going to mix, I'm going to apply. And of course, right up there in the very bow of this is going to be quite a bit because of the stair stepping of the boards. But we'll get it done. So I'm going to be smearing this on pretty heavy, so you can probably get another one going. What I mean by stair stepping is these boards here twist in so steeply. You can see them sweeping along here and then turning, that we get some ridges here on the bottom edge of each of these boards. And so we have to fill those ridges in to make a smooth surface. So I'm starting to fill that in over here. It still needs more. But it's really only in this section that comes back about this far. Once we get beyond there, then the boards become much more flat, and now we don't have to use so much fairing compound. The thing is, this is West System, and it sets up rapidly. Best thing I can do here is get it all out of this bucket so that it doesn't speed up the thermal reaction. And then I'll just spread it around as I need it. Phew, okay. Porthole is got fairing compound all the way up to the bow now. All that's left is tomorrow we'll do a little sanding and maybe a few small little fills after we sand and find out if there's any spots we missed. And this will be ready to put our fiberglass layers on probably Wednesday. Tomorrow's Tuesday. So we're going to get to the bulkheads. So we've got enough days left that I can say that for sure on Saturday we are going to have everybody out to put in the bulkheads. But we got a lot still to go on my list. We've checked off 4 or 5 things today, but we've still got plenty to go. But we'll get it done. That's going to do it for us for this week at the lot. So let's head back and we'll do a little wrap up with the Admiral.
This week we got a lot of good work accomplished. We managed to get fairing done on both canoes, and we managed to get fiberglass done on the starboard canoe.
Right. Unfortunately, we didn't get to fiberglassing the port canoe. Because remember I mentioned at the beginning, we've been having those alternating 80-some degree days followed by rain. Well, we got 2 days of solid rain, and we just couldn't work on it, and we can't do fiberglassing when there's going to be wet like that, or even cold where it actually froze water at night. And again, this is alternating between hotter days and freezing days. So, you know, soon cats and dogs will be falling from the sky, you know, all that good stuff. So no doubt we're going to have some trouble next week with this as well. But I'm going to tell you right now, no matter how much trouble we have with the weather next week, we're going to put those bulkheads in, I'm telling you. You can count on it. So we'll see you next week for that.
Thank you so much to all of you viewers, and also thank you very much to our patrons listed here. Don't forget to like and subscribe and click on the bell icon to be notified of our next video.
Right, and that next video, as I said, those bulkheads are going in.
Yeah.
See you then.
Bye.